Let's be honest. Most new moms spend more time picking out a diaper bag than they did preparing for what happens after the baby comes. Our culture hypes up the pregnancy glow, the baby showers, and the cute onesies. But postpartum, that's the part nobody really talks about until you're knee-deep in mesh underwear, leaking from everywhere, wondering why your 6-week checkup feels more like a formality instead of real support. Now, the truth is, postpartum isn't just a few weeks of healing. It's a lifelong shift, physically, emotionally, and neurologically. And while some women bounce back quickly, for so many others, it's a season marked by exhaustion, mood swings, breastfeeding challenges, sleep struggles, and a body that just doesn't feel like it used to. Here's what no one told us. All those symptoms share a common root: nervous system dysregulation. And that dysregulation can come from physical trauma during birth, emotional overwhelm when things don't go as planned, or even chemical stress from interventions. This video is for the moms in the thick of it, the ones barely hanging on, wondering why they still feel off, even though the baby's here and everything looks fine. We're going to walk through how birth affects the nervous system for both mom and baby, and how neurologically focused chiropractic care can be the missing piece in truly healing and adapting during this life-changing season. But before we dive any deeper, let's hit pause and take a look at what's actually happening during and after birth. Because the science here is both mind-blowing and incredibly important. So during delivery, babies go through an intense amount of pressure. Research shows they can experience compression forces of 120 to over 500 pounds of pressure on their little heads and neck. That's a huge amount of force on such tiny, delicate structures. And while baby's going through that, mama's not exactly coasting either. Within just 24 hours after giving birth, your hormone levels take a nosedive. Estrogen and progesterone drop dramatically, while prolactin spikes to kickstart milk production. This massive hormonal cliff directly impacts your brain chemistry and throws the autonomic nervous system, which is your body's command center for stress, sleep, digestion, and healing, into a state of imbalance. So it's no wonder so many moms feel like they've been hit by a truck. But here's the kicker. Most conventional care is still treating all of these isolated symptoms, like anxiety here, a sleep aid there, maybe a lactation consultant if you're lucky, without ever zooming out to ask, well, what's actually going on with the nervous system as a whole? So let's zoom out together to really understand why postpartum recovery is so hard for so many women. We need to start with what happens during birth for both mom and for baby. Let's start by talking about the sheer neurological impact of birth. Giving birth is a marathon. It challenges you physically, mentally, emotionally, and neurologically. For moms, we often see subluxation show up in those key transitional areas of the neurospinal system, like the pelvis, the low back, and the neck. Now, these shifts affect everything from how well your core recovers to how efficiently your nervous system regulates stress and healing. For babies, we most often see subluxations in the upper neck and the skull area, exactly where crucial nerves and the vagus nerve exit the brainstem. That's the area responsible for digestion, calming, latching, and sleep. And while medical interventions during birth are sometimes necessary, they can increase the likelihood of stress and tension in those exact spots, setting the stage for future struggles. Now, here's where things start to build. When subluxation sticks around after birth, it can lead to something we call dysautonomia. That's just a fancy word for an imbalance in the autonomic nervous system, the part that should toggle between rest and digest and fight or flight. But when your system is dysregulated, it often gets stuck in high gear. That's why so many postpartum women feel wired but tired, exhausted but unable to rest. You're running on stress hormones and your body just can't seem to shift back into healing mode. This stress state also interferes with things like milk production, proper digestion, pain sensitivity, and emotional regulation. So if you're feeling anxious, moody, worn out, or like your body just isn't bouncing back the way you hoped, there's a real physiological reason for it. And here's the part that's so often overlooked. Your nervous system doesn't just affect you, it affects your baby. There's a profound neurological connection between a mother and her child, especially in those first few months. Your baby's nervous system is still developing and doesn't yet know how to self-regulate. So guess whose system they borrow? Yours. That's what co-regulation is. Your breathing, your heart rate, your emotional tone, it all feeds into their little system. So when your nervous system is calm and balanced, your baby is much more likely to latch well, sleep peacefully, and feel settled. But if you're in stress mode, your baby often mirrors that state. It can become a cycle. So baby's upset, which stresses mom out, which further dysregulates baby. You get the picture. So how do we break that cycle and get both mom and baby back to center? So this is where neurologically focused chiropractic care comes in. And it's truly one of the most powerful tools that we have. At E320 Chiropractic, our approach always starts with a full assessment using advanced insight scans. These scans show us exactly where the nervous system is functioning and where the stress patterns are showing up. For moms, adjustments in the postpartum period are all about restoring pelvic balance, calming the upper neck to support vagus nerve function, and helping the whole system to re-regulate. That means better sleep, steadier moods, improved digestion, and yes, even better milk flow. For babies, adjustments are incredibly gentle but deeply impactful. They help them release tension from birth, improve latching and feeding coordination, ease tummy troubles, and even support healthy head shape development. It's all about resetting the nervous system and giving both you and your baby the best possible start in this new chapter. Postpartum care shouldn't stop at this quick 6-week checkup. You've just done one of the most physically and emotionally demanding things your body will ever do, and your nervous system deserves real support as you heal, you adjust, and you care for your little one. That's exactly what neurologically focused chiropractic care is all about. It's not about chasing symptoms or offering quick fixes. It's about getting to the root of why you're feeling the way you are. Through gentle, specific adjustments, we're going to help restore proper neurological function so your body can find balance again. When your nervous system is regulated, everything else from sleep to milk supply to emotional resilience can start falling back into place. Whether you're preparing for birth or already deep in the postpartum trenches, we'd love to walk alongside you in this season. Let's get you scanned, see what your nervous system needs, and then build a plan that supports real healing. You don't have to figure this out all alone. Reach out and let's get started.